Melissa Cole couldn't breathe. Sitting across from Marcus in this expensive restaurant, listening to him outline their future like she was another acquisition in his portfolio, something inside her snapped. 5-year plan, investment strategy, the house in the suburbs. He had it all mapped out, except he'd never once asked what she wanted. Her eyes drifted to the stranger at the next table. Dark suit, dangerous eyes. Watching her like he could see straight through her borrowed dress to the woman suffocating underneath. And suddenly, Melissa made the most reckless decision of her life. She stood up, walked over, and kissed him. Welcome to Wonderpath Stories, besties. Please like, share, and subscribe. The kiss lasted 3 seconds, long enough for the man across from her to freeze mid-sentence, long enough for Melissa Cole to realize what she'd just done, long enough for the stranger's lips to curve into something that wasn't quite a smile. She pulled back, breathless, her heart slamming against her ribs. The stranger's eyes were dark, unreadable, fixed on her face with an intensity that made her skin prickle. He was beautiful in a way that felt dangerous. Sharp jawline, perfect suit. The kind of man who looked like he belonged in this upscale restaurant while Melissa felt like an imposter in her borrowed dress. Her date, Marcus, was staring at her like she'd lost her mind. His face had gone red, his mouth opening and closing like a fish drowning in air. What the hell, Melissa? I'm sorry. The words tumbled out fast. I can't do this anymore. She grabbed her purse from the chair, stood on shaky legs, and didn't look back. Not at Marcus. Not at the stranger whose lips still tingled against her own. She just ran. Through the restaurant. Past the shocked faces of other diners. Out into the cold night air that slapped her face and made her realize she'd just destroyed a relationship with the most public, humiliating exit possible. Her phone was already buzzing. Marcus. Then her best friend Tasha. Then Marcus again. She ignored them all, walking fast down the sidewalk in heels that were murdering her feet. 2 blocks. 3. Until she found a bus stop and collapsed onto the bench, her whole body shaking. What was wrong with her? Why had she done that? Marcus was perfect on paper. Successful. Handsome. Her mother's dream son-in-law. But sitting across from him, listening to him talk about his investment portfolio and his promotion and his 5-year plan that included her like she was another asset to acquire, something inside her had snapped. So she'd kissed a stranger, like a crazy person, like someone who'd completely lost control of her life. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was her mother. Marcus called me. What happened? Melissa didn't answer. Couldn't answer. How did you explain that you'd sabotaged your own future because you couldn't breathe? Because the man everyone said you should marry made you feel like you were suffocating? Excuse me. The voice came from behind her, deep, controlled, with the barest trace of an accent. Melissa's head snapped up. The stranger from the restaurant stood 3 feet away, hands in his pockets, watching her with those same unreadable eyes. You followed me. Her voice came out sharper than she intended. Are you insane? He tilted his head slightly. Says the woman who kissed a stranger to escape a bad date. Heat flooded her cheeks. That wasn't. Yes, it was. He stepped closer. And now you're sitting at a bus stop in a dress that costs more than most people's rent, crying over a man who clearly doesn't deserve you. You don't know anything about me. I know you're running. I know you're scared. And I know you just made the most interesting decision of your life. Melissa stood, suddenly furious. This was the problem. Everyone thought they knew what was best for her. Her mother, Marcus. Now this stranger who looked at her like she was a puzzle he wanted to solve. Leave me alone. She started walking. He matched her pace effortlessly. Do you know who I am? Should I? Most people in this city do. Something in his tone made her stop, made her actually look at him, the expensive suit that fit too perfectly. The way he moved like he owned the sidewalk, the black car idling at the curb behind him with tinted windows and a driver who looked more like security than a chauffeur. Oh God, her stomach dropped. Are you some kind of criminal? His smile was cold. That depends on your definition. Melissa's brain screamed at her to run, but her feet stayed planted, because underneath the fear was something else. Curiosity, The same reckless impulse that had made her kiss him in the first place. My name is Tae-Rin. His eyes never left her face. And you just crossed into a world you don't understand. Then tell me. The words came out before she could stop them. Make me understand. The car door opened. Tae-Rin gestured toward it. Get in. I'll explain everything. This was insane. Getting into a stranger's car. A stranger who just admitted he was dangerous. But Marcus's face flashed in her mind. Safe, predictable, suffocating. Melissa got in the car. The interior smelled like leather and something darker. Sandalwood mixed with rain. Tae-Rin slid in beside her, maintaining a careful distance. The driver pulled into traffic without a word. Where are we going? Somewhere we can talk. Tae-Rin's voice was steady. Somewhere Marcus won't find you. How do you know his name? I know everything about everyone who walks into that restaurant. It's my job. Melissa's hands twisted in her lap. What kind of job? The kind that requires knowing who's dangerous and who's just playing at it. His eyes met hers. Your boyfriend falls into the latter category. Ex-boyfriend. Good. The car drove through streets Melissa didn't recognize, farther from downtown, into neighborhoods where the buildings got taller and the lights got brighter and everything screamed money and power. They stopped in front of a high-rise that made her apartment building look like a cardboard box. The driver opened her door. Tae-Rin led her through a lobby of marble and glass and gold accents that probably cost more than she'd make in a lifetime. Into a private elevator. Up, up, up until her ears popped. The doors opened directly into a penthouse that took her breath away. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the entire city. Furniture that looked like art. A space so clean and perfect it didn't feel real. Tae-Rin moved to the bar, poured 2 glasses of whiskey without asking if she wanted one. He handed her a glass, and she took it because she didn't know what else to do. You're scared, he sat across from her. Good, you should be. Then why did you bring me here? Because you interest me, and that doesn't happen often. Melissa took a sip of whiskey. It burned going down. I don't understand any of this. 2 hours ago you were having dinner with a man who bored you. Now you're in my home. What changed? I kissed you. No, his eyes pinned her in place. You chose something different, something unknown. Most people don't have that courage. It wasn't courage, it was stupidity. Perhaps, but it was honest. He leaned forward slightly. Tell me, Melissa, what do you want from your life? The question hit her harder than it should have, because she didn't have an answer. Hadn't had one in years. Everything she'd been doing was what other people wanted. Her mother's approval, Marcus's vision of the future. The safe, predictable path that led nowhere she actually wanted to go. I don't know, her voice cracked. I don't know anymore. Then let me show you something else. Tae-Rin stood, held out his hand, something real. Against every instinct screaming at her to leave, Melissa took his hand. His grip was warm, firm, steadying. And when he led her to the window overlooking the city, she felt something shift inside her chest. Not fear, not anymore, something closer to possibility. This city belongs to people who take what they want. His breath was warm against her ear, who aren't afraid to step into the dark. Are you one of them, Melissa? She didn't answer. Couldn't, because she was staring at her own reflection in the glass. At the woman who'd kissed a stranger and gotten into his car and followed him to a place she didn't belong. And that woman looked nothing like the safe, careful person she'd been pretending to be. I want to be. The words came out as a whisper. Tae-Rin's hand tightened on hers. Then stay. Stay and I'll show you everything you've been missing. The smart thing would have been to leave, to go home, to apologize to Marcus and her mother and go back to the life everyone said she should want. But Melissa was done being smart. Okay, she turned to face him, show me. His smile was slow, dangerous, beautiful. Then we start tomorrow. Tonight you rest. There's a guest room down the hall. Everything you need is there. You're not going to. She couldn't finish the sentence. No, his voice gentled. Not tonight. Not until you ask me to. Heat flooded through her. From fear or something else she couldn't tell. Tae-Rin called someone. A woman appeared, older, kind-faced, and led Melissa to a bedroom that was bigger than her entire apartment. The bed was massive. The attached bathroom had a tub that could fit 3 people. Clothes hung in the closet, all in her size, like he'd known she'd come here. She should have been terrified, should have run, but exhaustion hit her all at once. The adrenaline crash, the weight of what she'd done. She showered, crawled into bed wearing one of the silk pajamas from the drawer, and was asleep before she could second-guess any of it. Morning came with sunlight streaming through windows she'd forgotten to close. Melissa woke disoriented, her heart racing until she remembered. The restaurant. The kiss, Tae-Rin. She found clothes laid out for her, designer labels, perfect fit. She dressed quickly, emerged into the main living space to find Tae-Rin at the dining table, reading something on his phone. He looked up when she entered. "Good morning. Did you sleep well?" Melissa nodded, suddenly shy. "Where do we start?" "Breakfast, then I take you to work." "Work, I have a job." "Had a job." He set his phone down. "Marcus owns your company. Did you forget that?" Her stomach dropped. "Oh God, he's going to fire me." "He already did. Called your boss at 6 a.m., said you were being let go for unprofessional conduct." Melissa's legs went weak. She sat down hard. This was real. This was actually happening. She destroyed her entire life in one impulsive moment. "Hey," Tae-Rin's voice cut through her panic. "Look at me." She did. His eyes were steady, grounding. "That job was killing you, slowly. Every day you went there, you died a little more. Now you're free." "Free," she laughed, bitter. "I'm unemployed. I'm going to lose my apartment. My mother is going to disown me." "Good, let her." His words were harsh, but his tone wasn't. "You don't need people who only love you when you're convenient." Tears burned behind her eyes. "You don't understand. I have student loans, bills. I can't just stop working." "You won't." Tae-Rin slid a folder across the table. "But you'll work for me now." Melissa opened it. Contract. Salary that made her current pay look like pocket change. Position, executive assistant. Start date today. "This is too much." "It's what you're worth." His eyes held hers. "Take it or leave it. But if you take it, understand what you're agreeing to. You work for me. You follow my rules. You learn how this world really works. And in exchange, I give you everything Marcus never could. Power, freedom, truth." "What if I can't do it? What if I'm not strong enough?" "Then you'll find out. But I don't think you're weak, Melissa. I think you've been pretending to be weak because it made everyone else comfortable." The words hit something deep inside her, something that had been buried under years of being told to be quieter, smaller, less. "When do I start?" "Now," Tae-Rin stood. "We have a meeting in an hour." "What kind of meeting?" "The kind where you learn what I actually do." The drive took them to a part of the city Melissa had never seen. Industrial, gritty, the kind of place you didn't go unless you had business there. They pulled up to a warehouse. Tae-Rin's hand touched her arm before she could get out. "What you see in there, you tell no one. You breathe a word of this to anyone and you're a liability. Do you understand?" Her mouth went dry. "What am I going to see?" "Business." Inside, the warehouse was full of men, all Korean, all dressed in suits, all watching her with expressions that ranged from curious to hostile. Tae-Rin led her through them like he owned the air they breathed, to an office at the back where an older man sat behind a desk. He looked up when they entered. His eyes went to Melissa, lingered, then moved to Tae-Rin with something like disappointment. "You brought an outsider to a meeting." "She's not an outsider." Tae-Rin's voice was ice. "She's with me." The older man said something in Korean. Harsh, quick. Tae-Rin answered in the same language. The conversation went back and forth. Melissa stood there, understanding nothing, feeling like prey. Finally, Tae-Rin switched back to English. "Melissa, this is Mr. Kang. He runs the shipping operations. Mr. Kang, this is Melissa Cole, my assistant. She'll be handling certain accounts moving forward." Mr. Kang's eyes narrowed. "What accounts?" "The ones I choose." Tae-Rin sat, gestured for Melissa to do the same. "Now, the shipment from Busan. Update me." For the next hour, Melissa sat silent while they discussed things that made her skin crawl. Shipping containers, customs officials, payments that were clearly bribes, product that definitely wasn't legal. She realized halfway through what Tae-Rin actually was. Not just powerful, not just dangerous, he was a criminal, real, actual. The kind her mother warned her about, the kind that ended up in prison or dead. And she was sitting in his meeting, taking notes, pretending she belonged there. When it finally ended, when Mr. Kang left with a look that promised trouble, Tae-Rin turned to her. Well, Melissa's hands were shaking. You import illegal goods. Among other things. You're a criminal. That depends on your definition. His smile was cold. Legal and moral aren't always the same thing, Melissa. I provide services people want. I employ hundreds. I keep order in a city that would eat itself alive without structure. You're justifying it. I'm explaining it. There's a difference. She stood, suddenly desperate to leave. I can't do this. I can't be part of this. Then leave. Tae-Rin didn't move. Walk out that door. Go back to your life. Tell Marcus you're sorry. Get your job back. Marry him. Have his children. Die slowly in a house that feels like a prison. The words were cruel, accurate, devastating. I'm not like you. Her voice broke. I can't just decide laws don't matter. Laws are written by people in power to keep themselves in power. His eyes were hard. You think Marcus follows all the laws? You think the company you worked for was clean? Everyone's a criminal, Melissa. The only difference is who admits it. She wanted to argue, couldn't because he was right. She'd seen things at work, heard things, tax evasion, harassment covered up, but she'd looked away, told herself it wasn't her problem. What do you want from me? The question came out broken. Tae-Rin stood, moved toward her slowly. I want you to choose, really choose. Not because someone told you to, not because it's safe, but because it's what you actually want. And if I choose you, if I stay, then I teach you everything. How to be powerful, how to protect yourself, how to live without apologizing for taking up space. His hand lifted, tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. The gesture was tender, at odds with everything else about him. You're not a monster. Melissa's voice was barely a whisper. You're trying to scare me. I am a monster. His thumb traced her jawline, but I'm honest about it. That's more than most people can say. She should have pulled away, should have left, but his touch made her feel something she hadn't felt in years. Alive, present, real. Teach me. The words came out before she could stop them. Tae-Rin's smile was slow, satisfied. Then let's begin. The next 3 weeks were a blur. Tae-Rin kept his promise. He taught her everything. How to read people, how to negotiate, how to use leverage, how to walk into a room and own it without saying a word. He took her to meetings where millions changed hands, to restaurants where politicians and criminals sat side by side, to places she'd never imagined existing. And slowly, she started to understand. Power wasn't about money. It was about knowing things, about being willing to act when others hesitated, about choosing who you protected and who you destroyed. Melissa was good at it, better than she expected. She learned to smile at the right people, to stay quiet when information flowed, to take notes that would ruin lives if they ever saw daylight, and somewhere along the way, she stopped being scared. Tae-Rin noticed. Of course he did. He noticed everything. You're different. He said it one night after a particularly brutal meeting. Harder. Is that bad? It's honest. He poured her a drink. Most people pretend they're still good while doing terrible things. You're not pretending anymore. Does that make me like you? No, his eyes met hers. It makes you dangerous. The word should have scared her. Instead, it made her smile. Good. That night, something shifted. They'd been careful, professional, but the air between them had been building. Tension that neither of them acknowledged but both felt. Melissa stood to leave. Tae-Rin's hand caught her wrist. Stay. It wasn't a question, wasn't a command, just a statement of what they both wanted. She stayed. His kiss was nothing like the desperate one in the restaurant. This was controlled, deliberate, like he was claiming something that already belonged to him. Melissa kissed him back just as fiercely, her hands fisting in his shirt, his back against the window overlooking the city. This changes everything. She breathed the words against his mouth. It already changed. His hands gripped her hips. We're just admitting it now. They barely made it to the bedroom. Clothes discarded in a trail, his mouth on her skin, her nails in his back. It was desperate and perfect and nothing like the careful, polite sex she'd had with Marcus. This was raw, real, two people who'd stopped pretending to be anything other than what they were. After lying tangled in sheets, Melissa traced the tattoo on Tae-Rin's chest. A dragon, black ink rendered in traditional Korean style. What does it mean? That I belong to something bigger than myself. The family business. Something like that. His hand covered hers. You don't have to understand it all, not yet. But I want to. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, dangerous truth costs, Melissa. Once you know everything, you can't unknow it. You can't walk away clean. Maybe I don't want clean anymore. His arms tightened around her. Then I'll tell you everything. But not tonight. Tonight, just be here with me. She was, completely. And for the first time in her life, Melissa felt like she was exactly where she belonged. Morning came too soon. Tae-Rin's phone rang before dawn. He answered in Korean. His expression hardened. When he hung up, he was already moving. What's wrong? Business. He was dressing fast. I need to handle something. Can I help? Not this time. Stay here, don't leave the penthouse. Tae-Rin. He kissed her hard, quick, then he was gone. Melissa stood at the window, watching the city wake up and felt the first stirrings of real fear. Not for herself, for him. Because somewhere in the last 3 weeks, she'd stopped seeing him as just dangerous. She'd started seeing him as hers, and the thought of losing him made her chest tight. The penthouse felt too empty, too quiet. She paced, tried to work, couldn't focus. Finally, she called the only person who might understand. Tasha answered on the second ring. Where the hell have you been? I've been calling for weeks. I'm sorry, I needed time. Time, you disappeared. Marcus said you quit. Your mom is losing her mind. Are you okay? Melissa closed her eyes. I don't know. Where are you? Somewhere safe. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have right now. Tasha was quiet. Then you sound different, harder. Maybe I am. Is he worth it, this guy you're with? Melissa's throat tightened. Yes. Then don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But Mel, be careful. People who disappear like you did, they don't always come back. The call ended. Melissa stood there, Tasha's words echoing. She was different. She had disappeared. Into a world where the rules she'd grown up with didn't apply, where danger was currency and honesty was rarer than diamonds. And she had no idea how to go back. Tae-Rin returned late that night. There was blood on his shirt. Not a lot, enough. Melissa met him at the door. What happened? Nothing you need to worry about. She grabbed his arm. Don't do that. Don't shut me out. His jaw tightened. You don't want this, Melissa. You don't want to know what I did today. Try me. He stared at her for a long moment. Then, fine. I killed 2 men. Both of them deserved it. Both of them were threats. And I'd do it again without hesitation. The words should have horrified her, should have sent her running. But all she felt was a strange, twisted relief. That he'd come home, that he was alive. Show me. The words came out steady. Show me the real you, not the parts you think I can handle, all of it. Tae-Rin's expression was unreadable. You're serious? Completely. Then come with me tomorrow, see what I actually do, but understand this. If you come, you're in, all the way, no going back. Melissa didn't hesitate. I'm already in. His kiss was rough, claiming, a promise and a warning all at once. Then get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be a long day. But she couldn't sleep. Couldn't stop thinking about what she'd agreed to, about the life she was choosing, about the woman she was becoming. That woman scared her, not because she was wrong, but because she felt so completely right. The next morning, Tae-Rin took her to a meeting, not the kind with contracts and handshakes, the kind where men brought weapons and left with grudges. It happened in an abandoned factory on the edge of the city. Melissa stood beside Tae-Rin, watching as he negotiated with a man who clearly wanted him dead. The tension was thick enough to choke on. "You're making a mistake." The man's English was heavily accented. "You can't control everything." "I don't need to control everything." Tae-Rin's voice was ice, "just the things that matter. And this matters. More than you know." The man's hand moved toward his jacket. Tae-Rin was faster. His gun was out, pressed to the man's forehead before Melissa could blink. "Don't," the word was soft, deadly. "I like you, Choi. I'd hate to lose you over pride." The man froze. Then, slowly, carefully, he moved his hand away from his weapon. Smart, Tae-Rin lowered his gun. "Now the shipment, when does it arrive?" 3 days. "Good, make sure it's clean. No complications." "And if there are complications? Then we'll revisit this conversation. But next time, I won't be as patient." The meeting ended. Melissa followed Tae-Rin out, her heart still racing. Once they were in the car, she turned to him. "You were going to kill him." "If I had to, yes." Just like that. Just like that, his eyes met hers. "This is what I do, Melissa. This is who I am. If you can't accept that, then we end this now." She should have been horrified, should have demanded he take her home. But all she could think was that he'd been honest. Brutally, completely honest. No pretending. No excuses. "I accept it." The words came out strong. Tae-Rin's expression softened slightly. "You're either very brave or very stupid." "Maybe both." He laughed, actually laughed. It transformed his face, made him look younger, almost human. "Come on." He started the car. "I want to show you something." They drove for an hour, out of the city, into hills she'd never explored. Finally, they stopped at a house. Small, isolated, beautiful in its simplicity. "What is this place?" "Mine." Tae-Rin led her inside. "The only place that's really mine." The interior was surprising. Warm. Lived in. Photos on the walls of people Melissa didn't recognize, books on shelves. A kitchen that actually looked used. "I come here when I need to remember." He moved to the window. "When the city gets too loud." "Remember what?" "That I'm human." His voice was quiet, that I wasn't always this. "Tell me." Melissa moved beside him. "Tell me who you were." He was silent for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was different. Younger, more vulnerable. "I was nobody. 17 years old. Fresh off the boat from Seoul. No money, no connections, no English. Just anger and desperation and a father who died because he refused to join the organization that ran our neighborhood." "So you joined instead?" "No, I built my own. Started with nothing. Took territory block by block. Made deals. Broke people who got in my way. Became exactly what my father died refusing to be." "And you regret it?" "Every day." His eyes met hers, and not at all. Melissa's hand found his. "I don't know if that makes you a monster or just honest." "Can it be both?" She smiled. "Maybe." They spent the rest of the day there, in that small house that felt like a different world. Tae-Rin cooked, actually cooked. Korean food that made her taste buds sing. They ate, talked, laughed. And for a few hours they were just two people, not criminals, not assistants, just themselves. That night, making love in the small bedroom, Melissa felt something shift inside her. Something that had been building since that first impulsive kiss. "I love you." The words slipped out before she could stop them. Tae-Rin went still above her. His eyes searched her face. "You shouldn't." "But I do." His thumb traced her bottom lip. "I'm going to ruin you." "You already have." She smiled. "And I've never been happier." He kissed her then, deep, claiming, a promise that terrified and thrilled her in equal measure. "I love you too." The words were rough, like they hurt coming out. "God help us both." They stayed at the house for 3 days. A stolen pocket of peace, but reality came crashing back the moment they returned to the city. Tae-Rin's phone was full of messages. His expression darkened with each one. What's wrong? Someone's moving against me. He was already making calls. Someone who knows too much. Who? I don't know yet, but I'm going to find out. The next week was chaos. Meetings at all hours. Conversations in Korean that left Tae-Rin's face tight with rage. Men coming and going from the penthouse. Melissa tried to help, tried to understand, but she was out of her depth. Then Marcus called. She stared at his name on her phone screen. Hadn't heard from him since that night at the restaurant. Part of her wanted to ignore it, but curiosity won. Hello. Melissa, his voice was cold. We need to talk. We have nothing to talk about. Don't we? I know where you've been, who you've been with, and I have to say I'm disappointed. Her stomach dropped. What do you want? To save you, his tone shifted, became almost kind. From yourself. That man you're with, he's dangerous. He's going to get you killed. That's none of your business. It is when he's destroying my business, when he's costing me money, when he's making you a target. What are you talking about? Marcus laughed, bitter, sharp. Did you really think I didn't know? That I wouldn't find out you're working for a crime lord? That every deal I'm losing, every contract that falls through is because of him? Melissa's blood went cold. You're the one moving against him. I'm the one protecting what's mine, and that includes you, whether you like it or not. The call ended. Melissa stood there, phone in hand, her whole world tilting. Marcus was the threat. Marcus was trying to destroy Tae-Rin, and she was caught in the middle. She found Tae-Rin in his office, told him everything, watched his expression go from shock to rage to something colder. He's using you, the words were flat, to get to me. Maybe. Melissa's hands were shaking. Or maybe he really thinks he's saving me. There's no saving you now. Tae-Rin stood. You're too deep. He knows that. This is about revenge. Then what do we do? We end it. His eyes were hard, permanently. You mean kill him? I mean remove the threat. Melissa's chest tightened. I can't be part of that. You already are. His voice was brutal. The moment you chose me, you chose this, all of it. The words hit like a slap, because he was right. She'd known what Tae-Rin was, what he did. She'd chosen him anyway, chosen this life. And now it was demanding a price she wasn't sure she could pay. There has to be another way. Her voice broke. Something that doesn't end with someone dead. Tae-Rin's expression softened slightly. If there is, I'll find it. But understand this, Melissa. If it comes down to him or you, I choose you, every single time. The promise was beautiful and terrifying, because she knew he meant it, knew he'd burn the world down to keep her safe. The next 2 days were a nightmare. Marcus made his move, went to the police. Not about the illegal business, he was too smart for that, but about Melissa. Claimed Tae-Rin had kidnapped her, was holding her against her will. Suddenly, cops were everywhere, asking questions, watching the penthouse, making it impossible for Tae-Rin to operate. He's boxing me in. Tae-Rin paced like a caged animal, forcing my hand. Then give me to them. Melissa stood. I'll tell them the truth, that I'm here by choice. They won't believe you. His voice was flat. They'll say you're traumatized, that you're protecting your abuser. Marcus set this up perfectly. So what do? We disappear. He turned to her. Both of us. Leave the city, start over somewhere he can't find us. You'd give up everything, your business, your life here. For you, his eyes held hers, without hesitation. Melissa's throat closed, because that was the choice. Run with him, leave everything behind, or stay and watch Marcus destroy them both. When do we leave? Tonight, pack light. We're not coming back. But they didn't make it out. Marcus moved faster, showed up at the penthouse with 6 cops. A warrant, proof that Melissa was in danger. She watched Tae-Rin's face as they pushed through the door, watched him calculate, decide, and then do the one thing she never expected. He surrendered. Put his hands up, told his men to stand down, let them arrest him without a fight. Tae-Rin, no. Melissa tried to go to him. 2 cops held her back. It's okay. His eyes found hers across the room. This isn't over. Sir, step away from her. One of the cops moved between them. You're under arrest. For what? Tae-Rin's voice was ice. Loving someone. For kidnapping, for trafficking, for a dozen other charges were still compiling. They dragged him out in handcuffs. Melissa screamed, fought. It took 3 cops to hold her back. Marcus appeared in the doorway, looking satisfied, righteous. It's over, Melissa. You're safe now. She spat in his face. I hate you. You'll thank me eventually. His expression didn't change. When you realize what he was, what he would have made you into. He already made me into something. Her voice was cold. Someone who sees exactly what you are. A coward who hides behind laws and lies. Marcus's jaw tightened. Take her to the hospital. Get her evaluated. I don't need evaluation. I need a lawyer. Because if they thought this was over, they were wrong. Melissa Cole wasn't the same woman who'd kissed a stranger 3 months ago. She wasn't weak, wasn't helpless, wasn't going to let Marcus destroy the only person who'd ever made her feel alive. She was going to fight, and she was going to win. The hospital was a joke. Psych evaluation that took 2 hours. Doctors asking if she felt safe, if she'd been threatened, if she understood that criminals often manipulate their victims. Melissa answered carefully, calmly, gave them exactly what they needed to hear to let her go. Yes, she felt safe now. No, she hadn't been threatened. Yes, she understood manipulation. They released her the next morning. Tasha was waiting, drove her home, made her tea, looked at her like she was something broken. What happened to you? I fell in love. Melissa's voice was steady, with someone who saw me. And now he's in jail. For now. Tasha grabbed her hands. Mel, listen to me. This isn't love. This is, I don't know what it is, but it's not healthy. Says who? Melissa pulled away. Marcus, my mother. People who want me small and quiet and convenient. Says me, your best friend. The person who's known you since college. You've changed. Good, because the person I was before was dying. Slowly, painfully, and nobody cared as long as I smiled through it. Tears filled Tasha's eyes. I don't know how to help you. Then don't. Melissa stood. Just don't get in my way. She left, went to the only person who might actually understand. The lawyer Tae-Rin had told her about. The one who specialized in impossible cases. His name was David Chen, mid-40s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. You're Melissa Cole. He didn't ask, stated it like fact. Tae-Rin told me you might come. When did he tell you that? 6 months ago, before you even met. He's good at planning ahead. Melissa sat. What are his chances? Of beating the kidnapping charge? Excellent. You'll testify you were there willingly. But the other charges, those are harder. Can you get him out? Maybe, David leaned back, but it'll cost. Money, favors, things you might not want to pay. I'll pay anything. His eyes narrowed, even if it means becoming what he is, crossing lines you can't uncross. I already crossed them. Melissa's voice was hard. Now I'm just admitting it. David smiled. Then we'll get along fine. The trial was brutal. Marcus on the stand, painting Tae-Rin as a monster. Melissa as a victim. Evidence that looked damning until you understood the context. But David was brilliant. Took apart every argument, every assumption, made Marcus look like a jealous ex, made the cops look incompetent. And when Melissa took the stand, she told the truth. Raw, unfiltered, complete. Yes, she knew what Tae-Rin was. Yes, she'd chosen him anyway. No, she wasn't confused or traumatized or brainwashed. She was finally completely herself. The jury deliberated for 3 days. Melissa barely slept, barely ate, just waited, prayed, hoped. When the verdict came, she was in the courtroom. Front row, heart in her throat. Not guilty on kidnapping, not guilty on trafficking, guilty on lesser charges that carried time served. Tae-Rin was free. Melissa's knees went weak. David caught her arm, kept her upright. He'll be processed out tomorrow. You can see him then. But tomorrow felt like forever. She went back to the penthouse, his space, their space, and waited. He arrived at dawn, walked through the door like he owned it, because he did. Looked at her standing by the window, and smiled. Melissa, the word was a prayer. She ran, crashed into him. His arms closed around her tight enough to bruise. She didn't care. I thought I lost you. Never. His lips found her temple, her cheek, her mouth. I told you, this isn't over. They barely made it to the bedroom, desperate, claiming, proving they were both still alive, still together, still theirs. After, tangled in sheets, Tae-Rin traced her face like he was memorizing it. Marcus won't stop, you know that. I know, Melissa's voice was steady, so we stop him first. What are you suggesting? That I do what you taught me. She met his eyes. That I become what I need to be to survive this. Tae-Rin's expression was unreadable. That's a dangerous path, Melissa. I'm already on it. She kissed him. Now I'm just walking it with you. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, okay, we do this together. But understand what you're agreeing to, what I'm asking you to become. I understand. And for the first time in her life, she really did. Understood the cost, the darkness, the price of choosing herself over everyone else's expectations. Then let's end this. Tae-Rin pulled her closer, once and for all. The plan was simple. Marcus had evidence against Tae-Rin, financial records, witness statements, things that would put him away for decades if they ever saw a courtroom. So they needed to make sure that never happened. Melissa went to Marcus, alone, unarmed, just her and the training Tae-Rin had given her. He met her at his office, after hours, thought he'd won. Come to apologize. Never. Melissa sat across from him, came to make a deal. I don't deal with criminals. Everyone deals, Marcus. You taught me that. The question is what you're willing to pay. His eyes narrowed. What do you want? Immunity, for Tae-Rin, for me. You destroy every piece of evidence, you walk away. And we do the same. And if I refuse? Then I give the SEC every record of your tax evasion, every payoff you made, every law you broke building your perfect life. Marcus's face went pale. You're bluffing. Try me. Melissa pulled out a flash drive, placed it on the desk. Everything's here, ready to send. All it takes is one email. You've become just like him. No, she stood. I've become better than both of you, because I'm honest about it. Marcus stared at the drive for a long moment. Then, fine, you win. Smart, Melissa took the drive back. You have 48 hours to make it happen. After that, all bets are off. She left him there, went back to Tae-Rin, told him it was done. He pulled her into his arms. You're terrifying. Good, she smiled against his chest. Someone has to keep you in line. Marcus kept his word, destroyed the evidence, released his claim, walked away from his vendetta because survival mattered more than pride. And for the first time since that impulsive kiss, Melissa could breathe. 1 year later, they stood on a balcony overlooking a different city. Seoul, Tae-Rin's home, their fresh start. He'd moved his business, gone legitimate, mostly, enough to sleep at night without expecting police raids. Melissa ran it with him, partner in everything, building something new from the ashes of their old lives. Do you regret it? She asked one night, everything we gave up. Tae-Rin's arm tightened around her waist, not for a second. Even when it was hard. Especially then, he turned her to face him, because you stayed, through all of it. You could have left 100 times, but you stayed. Where else would I go? Melissa smiled. You're the only place that feels like home. He kissed her, soft, sweet, nothing like their desperate beginnings. Marry me. The word slipped out, not a question, a statement of fact. Melissa's breath caught. Yes. No hesitation. None, she grinned. I kissed a stranger once, might as well marry him. Tae-Rin laughed, pulled her closer. Then let's make it official. They married 2 months later. Small ceremony, just them and the people who mattered. No white dress, no church, just promises made under Seoul's skyline. And when Melissa looked at her husband, at the dangerous, beautiful man who taught her to be dangerous and beautiful too, she knew she'd made the right choice. Not the safe one, not the easy one, but the one that made her feel alive. Love didn't mean safety. It meant choosing someone every single day, through danger, through darkness, through everything the world threw at you. And Melissa Cole, born in that impulsive kiss, reborn in her choice to stay, had finally found exactly what she'd been looking for. Herself,